a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We greatly appreciate you tuning in to the program. And we've got Duane Bishoff, CPA of Tampa Bay, in studio with us today as well. We're going to talk about BOIR filings, 1031 exchange, and some other common occurrences in taxes, and also an opportunity to get a review and possibly save some money on your tax returns. Also, later on, attorney Jason Coble also visiting us in studio today. I want to invite you to an event that we're hosting over at Brio Tuscan Grill. That's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're hosting our third Thursday event at Brio Tuscan Grill on Thursday, March 21st, 6 o'clock over at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall, which is the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Join our radio show expert contributors, all of our show partners, and real estate team and others over at Brio on the 21st, March 21st. It's a Thursday at 6 o'clock. We're going to have some great networking there, fellowship. Come on out and hang out with us. We're going to have food provided, appetizers provided by the Consumer Quarterback Show, as well as, of course, there's a cash bar available as well. So great time, and you are invited. All of our listeners, our audience, we want you to come out and join us. And that way you can meet some of our expert contributors over there at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall, which is the restaurant partner for the show. All right, we feature our listings. We always feature our listings live on air. It's a strategy that helps our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. This is a beautiful waterfront property, $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 1979 square feet, beachfront condo, Indian Shores. You have private 2-car parking area, upgraded kitchen, granite countertops, mosaic backsplash, 3 balconies on this property as well, spacious master bathroom and bedroom. Now, what I love about this property is that you have a very low HOA. Condo fee is only $250 a month, $250 a month. Super low for $1 million beachfront listing. Super, super low. And then you also have the availability of a short-term rental here. Yes, you can short-term Airbnb, VRBO. You can rent this property out short-term, which is a major plus for real estate investors, people looking to buy real estate. Great listing on the Gulf of Mexico, right on the beach. This is your dream home that you've always wanted. Go ahead and give us a call or hit the website up, PlatinumCoastalElite.com. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, we got CPA of Tampa Bay, Duane Bishoff, in studio. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in. I know you're pretty busy this time of year, and
we are.
It's kind of tough getting you out of the office to get in here and talk radio time with us. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming in. So let's jump right into it. You talk about these BOIR filings. What is that?
Yes, it's a brand new. It's a filing with FinCEN, which is Federal Crimes Division, and it's a beneficial interest ownership filing, and so every corporation, LLC, that's filed that has less than 20, pretty much that has less than 20 employees, that has any kind of activity, needs to have one of these filed. The penalties are, if you don't file them timely, is $500 a day and it doesn't stop, and up to 2 or 3 years in prison.
Holy cow! This is brand new, government overreach, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You don't have to say that if you don't want, but I'll
no,
say
it's what it is.
It's
for
crazy.
Sure.
It really is.
So the deadline. So if you've created your LLC or corporation before 1/1/24, you have until 1/1/25 to file this. If you created an LLC or a corporation after 1/1/24, you have 90 days to file the original filing. Now, if you have a change in the information, you have 30 days to file.
Wow.
Or you're late. And so change is a change in address, partner changes, any kind of change with that information.
And how are people supposed to know that this is a new law that just came about? How are we supposed to know that?
Hopefully it's going to be out in the media and whatever. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
You know how I found out? One of my clients asked me about it.
Wow.
Early in January. What about this? And so I started looking at it. We went to a seminar on it. There's a big question about whether accountants or lawyers have to file these for people. Our professional liability, we're not sure if it's going to be cover these filings, because there's a lot of liability here.
Right.
So it's not going to be cheap to have someone file it for you. It's kind of simple, but you can screw it up at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're kind of punting these until after tax season, and then we'll go all in on them. And I mean, I'm expecting that we're probably going to do these, but yeah, it's a big topic. So if you have an LLC or a corporation, you have less than 20 employees, you need to pay attention to this.
Wow, they're coming after the smaller businesses. That's what's interesting about this. You got the Amazons of the world paying very little to zero tax, right? I mean, from what I gather, I'm not a tax pro, of course, but some of these big companies, they get away with paying very little to zero, and then they're coming after the small guy here with this BOIR filings. If you haven't heard of that, folks, BOIR filings, talk to your CPA, talk to Duane Bishoff, is who we highly recommend here in Tampa Bay for all of your tax filings and, of course, preparations. And Duane, you know what I think about? I think about the people that try to do it on their own. That they're filing through these online things, or maybe going into the place next to the shopping center, that you can walk into. But a lot of times they're on their own in a lot of cases.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's people who they don't know about it. It's going to be really interesting. So there's another saying, if you've ever heard of a FBAR filing. So an FBAR is if you have foreign accounts in another country over $10,000, you have to file something with the same people, a FinCEN every year, to report that, just so they know about it. It's the same type of thing. Yeah. And it can be, we'll see what it gets. Supposedly, I don't know, this FinCEN department is really small. I don't know how they're going to deal with 7 or 8 million filings come in. Yeah. And so people think it's something the IRS is going to end up handling, and just another thing to get them further behind.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So. It's like we need to take more from the small businesses, the middle income earners, and we need to send it over to Ukraine as fast as we can. Send it over to the Middle East. We're talking with Duane Bischoff here, CPA of Tampa Bay, longtime friend of the program, and we talk about consumer advocacy, things to think about, and this is definitely something that you want to bring on top of your radar. $500 a day fine, Duane, that seems excessive too, doesn't it?
Yep. And we asked at the seminar, so what's the point of this? They go, the point of this is so if they're trying to track criminals, they can see where they own and where their assets are, because there's a little bit more to it. So if you have an LLC that owns an LLC that owns an LLC, who's the beneficial owner? So you have to kind of weed through that. So it kind of it gets a little bit more complicated.
Sure.
But then they go, well, do we really think the bad guys are going to file these?
Right, exactly. Yeah, similar to the gun laws, right? It's like, we got to have all these new gun laws, but then, of course, the criminals aren't going to adhere to the laws. They're just going to go buy them bootlegged on the corner from Junebug and what's his name over there. They're going to go they're going to get what they need, but, the common homeowner or person that wants to defend themselves, they're not going to abide. They're going to have to abide by these laws. Yep. So it's tough, man. It's challenging times. Anything else to cover on the BOIR filings?
No, just be aware of it. You can Google it, and we're happy to call my office if you have questions about it. We'll take it from there.
Yeah, talk to Duane Bischoff, CPA of TampaBay.com, if I recall, Duane. CPA of TampaBay.com. CPA of TampaBay.com. Duane Bischoff on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And let's jump into some of these common questions. As realtors, we're told not to practice law, not to give CPA advice, those types of things. But when it comes to some of the basic questions, let's say for example, I'm a landlord. I own 8 properties, for example. I own properties. I'm renting out duplexes, triplexes, quads, and I go to sell those properties. What do I want to consider, and what might my tax bracket? How might that be taxed?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different things that could happen with that. So for sure, you're going to start off with your basis in the properties, which is what you paid for the properties. Repairs don't get added back, but anything you may have capitalized as an improvement would get added to that, and then you want to subtract your depreciation that you've taken already. That reduces your basis to see what your gain is going to be. Okay. And sometimes the depreciation can be recaptured. So there just means the type. Some of it can be taxed as ordinary. Some of it can be taxed as straight capital gains. It's a computation that we have to go through.
Right.
To see.
Okay.
So it's better. If you do that, contact your tax person before you just pull the trigger on something like that, so you know what happens. Now, another thing that can come into it is these are all rentals. If they have passive losses, you may have other businesses where you make money, and you're in a place where you can't take passive losses. You may not be in a real estate business. You may be an attorney who has this, and you have good income. So your passive losses, you don't get to deduct them. So they get carried over. So the good thing is when you sell a property, if you have passive losses, you get to take all those losses in the year you sell the property.
Okay.
So what was a kind of a bad thing before becomes a benefit when you sell the property, because now you take those losses against the capital gains or the gains that you have. So
okay.
That's a benefit. Got it.
So in that example, I was talking about a family or a gentleman that owns 8 units, and you said basically, okay, you're going to have your basis of what you paid for it plus capital improvements. What might those capital improvements be, or what do you see common?
Renovating a bathroom, renovating a kitchen, adding a shed, putting in a driveway that you didn't have. Could it be a roof? A roof extends the life of the house.
There you go.
So you're supposed to capitalize it.
Yep.
So, any of those things that are improvements, new AC systems you put in, those, if you haven't expensed them, then it should be capitalized.
Okay. And then you take your depreciation off of that.
Correct.
Okay. Good stuff. Now, at the end of the year, too, I think kind of on this same note here, at the end of the year, a lot of times people say, oh, well, the real estate business slows down in November, December. Sometimes it can. But, we've seen some pretty strong Decembers lately with our real estate business, our real estate team at Keller Williams Realty. But what's the magic number there around December 31? What do you see? People trying to do those types of things, or they're trying to, a lot of times they'll say, hey, I got to close this before December 31. What might be the reason why somebody wants to close that before December 31?
I think some people maybe they could be a favorable tax year for them, and so it's better for them. They see the next year going to be better, so they're closing it this year when their income's down to take advantage of that.
Right.
That's one of the things.
Yep.
Could be a couple other different things that have to do with people that maybe they're going to go start on Social Security next year, and if they throw this big gain in that year, then their Medicare premiums go up because they're going to have a big blow up, in their Medicare.
Right.
So in their property, in their income. So there's different things that affect it.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses will, they're trying to. You heard the old thing: don't check the bank in the last, week and check it in January, so you don't have to report that income. You're supposed to report the income, but the idea is, it's kind of the old baseball axiom: throw your pitcher today, it can rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you know what the tax laws are today. You don't know what they're going to be next year because they can change them. So you feel comfortable enough with how it is now, and so do what you can to fix this year's tax. Defer until next year if you can, and then we'll worry about next year.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's generally what most people try to do.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Also, I think one reason too is for the homestead exemption. They close before December 31. They can have that homestead exemption.
That's correct. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yep. All right, Duane Bishoff in studio with us, CPA of Tampa Bay. Check him out online. We're going to take a quick break, come back more. We're going to talk about 1031 exchange, really unique vehicle that you can utilize in the tax game to help save some money, help offset taxes here. Coming up more with Duane Bishoff, CPA of Tampa Bay, on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at BrandonRhymes1 on Instagram, at CQB Show as well. We got our Facebook pages, of course, and on YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate that. Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, back in studio with Duane Bishoff, CPA of Tampa Bay. Coming up, attorney Jason Coble in the house as well. We're going to talk with attorney Jason on the next segment. But before we do, a couple of hot listings here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We always like to feature our real estate properties live on air, and it's a strategy that helps our sellers sell faster for more money. We're a top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay with the #1 real estate company in the world, Keller Williams Realty, 6441 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach. This is a beautiful property with a private boat dock overlooking the Boca Ciega Bay. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2280 square feet, 6441 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis, enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. You have a spacious kitchen, perfect for entertaining, opens up to the dining room. You have a barrel tile roof that's recently replaced, 5 sets of hurricane-related windows, rated windows, that is, 75 feet of water frontage with a dock, and water and electric out there by your dock as well. 6441 4th Palm Point, St. Pete, overlooking beautiful Boca Ciega Bay. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. 300 6th Street North, Unit 6. This is Safety Harbor. This is a beautiful area. People love Safety Harbor. This is a nice unit here as well. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, just under 1,000 square feet. You have a new kitchen, sink, and bathrooms. You have a kitchen that has stainless steel appliances. There's a pool just steps away from your front door, equipped with a water heater and HVAC system, that is. And you're just blocks away from Main Street. This one also, I love that back view, that view out the back patio. It has kind of like a jungle feel to it. Just really cool. You have a creek running through it and some beautiful oak trees, palm trees there. 300 6th Street North, Unit 6 in Safety Harbor. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
All right, we're in studio here. We're talking with Duane Bishoff, CPA of Tampa Bay, talking about consumer advocacy tips and ideas, things that you can do to save time and money, avoid commission-based advice, and that's the goal of the show, be that consumer advocate, help you save time and money in your real estate, your business, your finance, all these different areas of life. So, Duane, let's talk a little bit about the 1031 exchange, and then we also want to kind of tee up this opportunity for our audience to get a review, and there's specific businesses that might be more advantageous, more different types of tax returns, that is. So talk to me a little bit about what are you seeing in the areas of 1031 exchange?
Yeah, so we usually have clients a couple a year that do it. Today, I just had he's a younger kid. You know, I say younger. He's, I don't know if he's 35 yet. Yeah. And he got in. He probably have 12 or 13 rental properties, maybe more than that actually. And he did a reverse 1031 where he bought them before he sold. He bought before he sold, so you can do that as well.
Wow.
And so yeah, the idea is if you sell a property that you had and it's gone up in value, then you're gonna have tax to pay. So if you can get an intermediary, do a 1031 exchange, so an intermediary collects the funds from the closing of the first one, and then uses it to close on the purchase of this from the sale of the first one on the close of the second one, the purchase of the second one. Then you can push your gain into the second property as long as it's generally more expensive than what you're buying. You can generally push the whole gain in. Yeah. And so that's the idea. So you're pushing that gain down the road, and then you keep pushing it down the road. And then if you keep doing this, when you pass, whoever your beneficiaries are going to step up in basis, will never pay tax on those gains.
Right.
So that's kind of the game that can be played here.
Got it.
And it doesn't have to just be into another property. It can even be to a like commercial investment where you're buying into a group of people who invest in these REITs and that kind of thing. That can qualify as a 1031 exchangeable item as well.
So you could buy a car wash like all these people are doing these car washes. How many car washes do we need, people? Slow down the approving of the car washes. I mean, it's like every other mile you got a car wash. How many cars do we have to? But yeah, I'm not the only one, right? I mean, I see you guys see it, right, everybody? Yeah. Okay. So we're talking with Duane Bishoff. You got the 1031 exchange. That makes sense. That was the first time I've actually heard of a reverse, though. Mm-hmm. So reverse. So you find something you like, you buy it, and then you sell. Walk me through that.
Yeah, so they bought this particular guy bought a house. He wanted to do a Airbnb on it, and it had a pool. It's his pool house. Actually, he says he's killing it on it. And he bought the house, and then I don't know how it's done, but you get a 1031 specialist involved with it. Yep. And there's a way. It's called a reverse 1031. So there's a way to do that. So I'm not sure how it's done. But
so he's able to roll. He sold his other properties and was able to roll that into it.
Correct.
Okay, so he must have paid back some kind of a loan maybe or something. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, just a couple minutes left. I wanted to get to this. So we always like to do a review. We like to get our audience involved. You can call the hotline, 727-263-3707. Call or text the show hotline. That's an off-air number. 727-263-3707. And what we're going to offer is a review. Now, Duane, CPA of Tampa Bay, Duane Bishoff, can do a review of your taxes. You can go back a couple years, few years. And what are some of the best areas that you've found for this to work?
Yeah, so definitely rental properties. One, if you have rental properties, if you sold a rental property, even if you sold inherited property is a big one because they missed the step up. I did one. His daughter was doing his taxes, fixed his taxes. He got like $95,000 back.
Wow.
So she just didn't understand what she was doing.
Wow.
Anyhow,
big mistake.
Small businesses. Any kind of small businesses. Wow. So yeah, those are if you're a W-2 employee with investments and that kind of stuff. There's probably not a lot we can do.
Right.
It still could be, but there's probably not as much as if there's a business. Or there's a rental property, so they sold, had a sale of something. Yeah. If there's inheritance, anything like that, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Don't let your daughter or uncle or aunt, if they're not studied in this plate, because that's a $95,000 mistake. I mean, that's a lot of money leaving on the table.
A lot of money.
So get that review, folks. Duane Bishoff, CPA of Tampa Bay, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of his contact information, or call the hotline 727-263-3707, and we'll get that review done for you. 727-263-3707. You never know, you might have some found money there, some money that you just didn't account for. The other preparer just didn't see it. So that makes a lot of sense. Duane, thanks for coming in, man.
Okay. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, we covered a lot of ground there. And coming up, we've got attorney Jason Coble in the house. We're going to talk about work comp law, personal injury law, and also some of this different lawfare happening in our great country. We're going to talk about some interesting cases here. Ted Cruz brought up an interesting one, too, with the D.C. Federal Court of Appeal relating to January 6th. So we're going to cover a lot of these different laws coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.